All right, we'll call the November 4th, 2019 Management Services Committee to order.
I commented, predicted when you would arrive.
Okay. Charlie,
What? You got a motion about the agenda ready?
we want, before we approve the agenda, if you're going to.
Yeah, right. Were you there ready?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't hear the roll call. Chairman, may I make a motion
please.
to move the discussion action on the City of Watsika flooding project from its position way down in the list, all the way up to maybe the top one?
Below public comment.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. And is there a motion to approve the agenda as suggested? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Are there any public comments? And we will go to discussion and action on City of Watsika flooding project.
Can I approach?
Yes.
Thanks for having me. For the record, John Allhans, citizen of Watsika, representing 6 other homes in the Leverage Lane area. Okay, I don't know if you came by down here, but there's been a big pond. That started developing about 2-3 years ago. Usually it would kind of sheet off, but now it's kind of staying and collecting for a while. And I know last spring and into the summer, that pond stuck around probably for about 3.5 weeks. I know your contracted mowers couldn't mow it for a long time too. I mentioned to say with Mr. Drake might realize that. Like I said, the drainage issue, it sits on the county property. And like I said, the standing water wasn't an issue for about 2 or 3 years. And I'm going to just go through my bullet points here. I feel that with the way that that's sitting, that there's probably a collapsed field tile. I know back when I was a kid, they used to grow crops on that tract of land. So, you know, I know there's been talk of it being a marsh, but as far as growing crops, you probably don't plant a lot of crops in marshes and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was draining, and now it's not. Areas that no longer drain, the best are east of Grant. That's coming off of 24, coming by here. Just south of the TP&W Railroad, the ditch along the west side of Grant, which would be on our side, and also areas along the backyards of Leverage Subdivision and east of the county jail and east of 10th Street to the south side of the courthouse. The correct way would probably be running a field tile, which I have a copy of this that was done by our Public Works Director and our engineering firm. And I know that was maybe brought up at one of the others. I'll kind of move this around so everybody can kind of see. Fingertips are not agreeing. Probably the correct way to take care of this issue, I'll start over here and then I'll bring it over to you, John, would be start this drainage tile, 24 railroad tracks, bring it down the back, take it across the road, and then terminate it over there where we ran we had a crushed drainage, sanitary drain over there on Porter, and we just extended it out because, you know, that part of town, it would be hard to get in there, so we said, let's take it across, even though it was county property that we're kind of draining. That gives us one more access when floods do happen. So that would be the issue that would probably cure it all. So we'd start up here, 24, come down, and then terminate over here. I want to have my directions right, but where it terminates over there.
What are you draining into?
We have, what we had over there was a storm drain that collapsed down Porter, and then we extended it under the road.
Okay.
So it's draining that corner, it's actually county property, but, you know, we couldn't have access to that part of town, and sometimes we get kind of hard up for access into town when we have flooding situations in town. And also, you know, you don't know what extended water does to the base. So we kind of looked at it like that, and that seems to be working pretty well. So you take it all the way over to just about to that drainage area over there, and then that would go into our big project that takes it out to the river. Anything else? Okay. What was originally proposed when I was here over the summer, it's not the best of cures, but I was looking at a cost sharing that we could do with the county on this, was to start over. And if you know, on the house over here that has the pool and Tommy Taylor's house and then Mr. Knowles, that ponding has been there for, that's been there for a while, okay? The stuff over here down the way where we have the bigger pond, that's been 2 or 3 years, but this has probably been closer to 4 or 5, maybe even, you know, longer than that. So the ponding, and then over here, this is where the big pond's at now, okay? And this is about 2 or 3 years. This is about anywhere from 5 or more. Saw that here. Okay. So what was proposed here was, and again, it's not the best, but at least gets the water underground and draining that way and getting away from the yards. Right now, if you come about with the house right here, you're talking the Taylor residence, you're talking the Hebert residence, Mr. Knoll, he recently passed away, Becker's, All Hands. Over here it floods into his yard also. Long, it used to be Davenport's, over to here to Wittenborn's coming down. So at least this would get it off the surface and getting it draining underground. And I've got some pictures that I'll show also kind of what I'm talking about. But again, starting here, and I know I'm being repetitive here, but I want everybody to kind of understand. So this would go underground and then take it and then terminate it into this. We cleared out this ditch off of Sammy Martin's property. And if you look across from T&D Metals, there's still a big pile of debris. The railroad was good enough to clean that out. They aren't good enough to clean out the stuff, the debris that they brought out. It's over there in the parking lot of T&D if you look. Okay. I know, this is getting monotonous, I apologize. Okay. You know, I'm going to just go through my bullet points here. Again, the correct way would probably do the field tile. We do hard, we're city. We do hard, you know, we do PVC when we drain. I mean, nothing says that tile can't be used on that, but that's just what we know. That's what we do. That's what, you know, our contractors do. So again, probably the best route would be taking that, you know, what I showed you with the red, terminating over there. There's not a lot of fall. Somebody said, well, could we dig this out to here? There's a little more fall this way than what there is this way. That's why it almost has to go underground at this point. Okay, again, this is probably not the ideal, but again, it would eliminate standing water on the surface. You know, I just looked at a cost sharing that we could get something going before the season. Now, some of the pictures that I have, and I know you can drive by and see, but that just kind of shows some of the pictures behind some of the properties. And actually, I got it. You know, and if you look at your ditches that's going along the west side, because again, the road up to just around the curve, I think it starts at the house, that's county property. Okay, I know we plow it and we've been repairing it here over a lot of years. But again, that's looking, and I also have, you have choke points at the ditches. You have the combine, what I call the combine hole, where the tractors would go in. There's a little bit of a drive over there. You have choke points there as far as where the water, so your ditches probably aren't draining the best there either. Here's some more pictures of just in the backyard. So the first one, that sits behind Long's, my house, and Becker's house, the very first picture, if you're looking at this one, right here. Next one, that's over by the office building, showing where it's not draining. Next one is kind of looking off of my property. This is, you know, again, this was probably in the spring where that storm kind of, that's third picture in, where that kind of hung around for about 3.5 weeks. We have some borders between, I forget which properties, but there's.
Can I look at the sheet under this proposal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Storm?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Grab them both if you want to.
I know what's going on with that one, but
Okay.
I haven't seen this yet.
Okay. Getting over on to about the second to last picture, that's the water going into the Long property on mine, next to mine. And then you have that existing pond that's stuck around for a while. This is Wittenborn's, where you have the shed going into their property also. And I thought I had one, but again, the house with the pool, the in-ground pool, it has a fence up, and it kind of comes out. That's where that pond is, you know, that had been there a little bit before. We were taking something over to even get that drained. Okay, and I think we were looking at what, and I don't know if you still have those costs that I gave you, previous meetings, was at about $7,800, $7,900, and we were looking at doing a cost sharing there. On this. Question?
Is this one, sorry, I wasn't listening, I was looking at this, a cost share on this as well, or was that just?
Well, I can check with my counsel on that. I mean, that's, you know, that's.
This is kind of new.
That's new. That's new, because I heard somebody had mentioned, well, what's the city doing with hard, you know, that's just what we do. I mean,
Yeah, regular field tiles are
a lot, yeah, that's a lot cheaper.
If you hard PVC it, you're gonna have one spot where it goes in, it doesn't go in, the PVC that you're using doesn't have drainage in it all the way along.
Okay, I'm, help me out with that.
Field tile.
And I'm not questioning.
Field
I'm just
tile
saying-
has holes in it,
Okay.
the water
okay.
goes in it all the way through.
Okay. Okay, now I get what you're saying. And like I said, this is probably not the most ideal, but like I said, I was just looking at, we could get something going before while we still have the construction season. And, you know, we could get something quick. This probably is the better route, because that's gonna go right into that big project.
And you would use field tile on that.
And that's what I'm saying, you know, field tile here. I mean, like I said, if you don't wanna do anything with us, I mean, it is on the county land. I'm not trying to be Rocky Hard guy here, but, you know, there's some other issues here at bay. And I was looking at trying to, you know, expedite and see if we can help. Because, you know, I mean, I think we've shown that we can work together, work with John on the flooding issue. I mean, we work with you on this road out here, with the plowing and the repairing. And then I guess, I do have pictures of the different homes that are affected. If you wanna look at it, you can't really see the numbering. I was doing my snipping tool and it didn't come off the best. Let's see if I have the same pictures here. Might have to
There you go.
take a look. And I kind of halfway numbered them. But one you have, like I said, actually one Tommy Taylor's house, because that pond kind of stretches out when it gets going. Then you have the in-ground pool, that's Hebert's. Next to that is Rich Knoll, that's the gentleman that recently passed away. And Barbie Becker's house is next to that, mine. Long/Davenport's, they've only been in there not even a year yet. And then Wittenborn's. And I guess the last exhibit, and like I said, you know, the ditch over there, it's not really made for drainage, or else it's filled in over time, you know. But you have choke points, you have one right on the curve over here. You have one down from about Sammy Martin's drive-in to about 4 or 5 trees down, best I can tell. And then once you get over to, again, what I call kind of that combine hole, you know, where they drive the tractors in years ago, it chokes up there quite a bit. And I don't know if it's going through underneath. Okay, like I said, I'm just representing the folks that live over there. It's about 7 households. And then the only other thing I got, and those little white specks that you see shooting up, it was terrible mosquitoes. So now we're kind of looking into a health hazard. I don't know if you can see the white specks kind of out there. That's not the tops of grass, kind of starting to look like wheat. That's actual mosquitoes, yellow, and it's kind of pixelated. I don't know where my videos are, but I know you don't have a projector anyway. But I took some video of it. I mean, it was massive swarm, and that stuck around again for about 3 to 3.5 weeks. Okay, I think I've done a lot of talking. So
Do you have any,
on the field tile, no.
okay,
All I did was that over there because, again, I've got to talk with my council on that to see if they would, be willing to go, since primarily, I mean, and again, I'm not trying to be
does it
rude,
seem like-
crude, or anything like that, but it's on the county land.
is there enough fall to get from over there to
Well, I assume if
your-
you go underground, there probably would, you
Well,
could make
but
the fall.
where it hooks in, we gotta,
Okay, well, are you talking on the first option over the
red option,
red option?
where it hooks in.
Talking to, and this is where I don't have the expertise, but talking to our public works director and working with our engineering firm, they said this would probably be the best option.
Right.
Well, I'm going the wrong way.
Can I ask a question?
I can try and answer.
Well, why can't we just run farm tile on this right here instead of running it solid?
There's a bigger outlet here, I guess. I mean,
No,
I
no,
suppose you
I
could.
understand, but we've been talking about the whole time running a regular storm sewer through here, and it doesn't.
That would be something I'd have to ask.
Run that right under the ground, much cheaper, but still run it straight over here to the,
Railroad
existing
ditch,
manhole.
or the,
Using field tile instead of PVC.
Right.
PVC is expensive.
Right.
yeah. We just don't,
But I mean, you're
the city
gonna.
doesn't do a lot of that. So, I mean, I can't tell you the source on that, so I would have my public works talk with
Chris,
But I think it might that way
I
too.
think you mentioned something about the flooding over by the courthouse, is there flooding over that way?
There is water issues over there as well, is why I know we're talking dollars and cents here, but the option you guys call the red option, that would be the best option.
Because that would take care of multiple problems.
And there is a
for us.
lot of fall there, so that
Okay.
it wouldn't be a slow drainage deal if there was a tile running through there. There's also some groundwater issues right there next to the jail, and that would help alleviate some of that as well.
What happens if, having them run tile over to it?
I think.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Run
no,
it right
exactly,
on the
because
backside
you're-
straight over, so they both can run into it. Almost like a T.
Tie in.
Something this
Now,
way and we're gonna come from this
Where
way.
it goes across there, is there water stands over there too? And that we,
where at,
across the road?
right here,
No,
or over here?
over there.
There is,
That's the
there is. That's right on this area over here.
Because you got it going
'Cause
out
you got-
into the field.
I'm gonna call it the Sammy Martin property, but you do have some that accumulates there.
Might as well
on
run
the east
something
side of the road.
here over to here to cover all these houses on the backside.
I mean, I'm more than willing to approach my council on that.
So what side of the field is this on?
That'd be right out here.
Well, I know,
That's on the east side of the road.
It's,
I get that. So here's the tracks. There's a field.
Yeah, usually it puddles up, ponds up around here.
so we're here.
In front of the field.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well,
I don't know if I've got a good satellite shot on it or not.
if we extend into the field, then we gotta talk to whoever.
I know, I'm just
Yeah.
asking, I want clarification. You're talking about in front of the,
You want me to try and grab my laptop? I don't know if I can get, I might have saved those pictures
It'd be right out here.
from
in
Google.
front of the field.
There's 150 feet there between the road and the field.
Thank you, I'm just talking, it's in front of the field though, where that, that's all.
Okay.
All I need, thank you.
Okay, I didn't know sure.
I didn't want to blur it.
Huh?
Right there.
Yeah. And you know,
Sure, look at this.
okay,
You can see where. it's
now, I
at.
mean, there is a wet spot in the middle of it, but primarily it's right in this area.
So in front of the field, yeah, that's, I just.
No, you're fine.
And then if you blow it up bigger, you can actually see, now this is a, not in now time, but you can see the darker brown. You can see where this thing kind of puddles up or ponds up. I mean, I don't know, is that something that you'd want to have your engineer look into? Since you got one on staff and we hire out.
And we can ask him to, because if we have multiple issues, including over by the courthouse, and if this is gonna at least help,
So are we thinking if we're gonna do this?
because where does the water stand? Is it by that south parking lot? Or
East of the jail.
If he can.
When we get heavy rains and whatnot, and there are some collapsed tiles that run through there as well, because our parking lot for the courthouse on the north side, there's an inlet that years ago used to drain over into that field into something, but it's collapsed now.
That was the natural flow.
And now when, if we get heavy rains and whatnot, the parking lot just overflows, and then eventually it runs into the new.
Hey, John, what would be the reason for us even coming over at all?
What's that?
What would be the reason for us coming over here at all?
As far as that,
Yeah.
I was just looking at that was county property when I originally talked with him. I mean, as far as cutting it off and starting here,
Well, if we have water on both sides of the road, if we're doing it, we may as well get our property taken care of. It's cheaper to do it when you're doing it all at once.
Okay, but if he's gonna connect on our tile, he needs to pay also,
Well,
from a standpoint of,
if,
cost sharing.
if,
Definitely.
if we extend it clear out, if we just go onto our property, then,
Right, but then where we stopping before we get to the edge, we're gonna go to the edge of
well,
ours.
I mean, we can ask him if he wants to tie into it or not.
Okay.
no, like I said, I just saw that ponding, that, I'm not saying you have to do that.
That's fine. No, not at all. He just couldn't go over like the, he's got the big yellow, yeah. What do we call the culvert, they call them?
Yeah, I know.
The drain out, basically. Okay. I'll go with.
Okay, so by doing this, you could actually help drain our parking lots over there better and maybe extend the life of them?
Sure. I mean, it would benefit.
It's not gonna hurt us. It's gonna
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
It's not gonna be some miracle fix where.
Right, but anytime you have water standing on a parking lot, it's not good for that parking lot.
Right.
Well, and around the base, I mean, I think it's clearing that corner that used to flood out by Buzzy Mintz's house, really good since we did that project.
I agree, water
We're
used
gonna
to
go
sit
right
there
in the middle of ours.
For
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now since that new drain's been put in there, it goes away quick.
It goes into that big,
I hate to be.
what is that, 36 or 60?
It's big, 60.
It's big, yeah.
I
It
know
goes
that
down
hopefully.
Sugar Creek, past Lee.
It goes both ways.
Okay.
With over all that.
Well, I think we need to continue to review it, and I think we need to get some
I would like to see
standard
it.
pricing for,
I think it's.
Well,
Some
do we
different
want,
options.
would we like to have Joel look it over and see what he
Yeah.
says?
Okay, and then, I can have our guy kind of look into it too.
Okay. And
I
maybe
still
you
think
get
something to go
together.
this way though, to tee it or something. That would be my thought. Makes sense.
It
Okay,
does.
can we have a motion to have Joel,
on the motion to have Joel look at it, review it, and give some other ideas, adding on that back half, as well as only going partially onto the county property, they're
I didn't want to draw that, John.
not only
Hmm?
the
I didn't
field,
want to draw it.
No, I got it.
and do some price comparisons.
I just,
Field tile versus PVC.
I just about guess the present tiling dates back before the buildings were built here.
Probably Terracotta tile.
Probably so.
Said price comparison on
Field tile
Clay.
versus.
Clay, clay.
versus
Terracotta, clay.
Oh,
Or cement.
Like I said, I mean, it's gotta be something that's, it's shoving back and, I mean, it's just,
I think it'd be smart to do the tee. I really
So
would.
tee.
Yeah, definitely a tee.
and not go across the road.
Go across the
we'll
road,
let
but-
Joel look at it and see what he recommends.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I know that was part of the,
Can we keep these to get to Joel, or do you need these back?
Or can you get us a copy of them?
So he can see pictures and then.
It's up to Joel Moore now?
Huh? Yeah,
Okay, I want to make sure there's not another Joel around here.
okay. So we have a motion. Can you read that motion?
we're having Joel review the plans, adding on the back half. He's also going to do a price comparison with field tile versus PVC.
Is that basically what the motion was?
I'll second.
So, we're not spending any money at this point, so all in favor, all opposed? Motion carries. We will have Joel look into it.
Yeah, and I'll have our guy, like I said, we just don't do a lot of, we do the hard stuff, so. I'll see if we can get that far. Right.
Okay.
I know I threw a lot of pictures at you. Do you want me to throw anything away for you?
Want these back?
I don't need them back.
Okay.
Folks, I appreciate your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Does any of the grant money, John, take care of any of this kind of stuff?
That's a good question. As far as like forgiving stuff,
Yeah,
I'll ask.
How about cost sharing?
well, we
That's
talked
where-
about
yeah.
that,
Well, if we-
that'll happen, but if the
If we can
grant
do
would give
joint
us
entity,
some-
that's a good idea to check in on at least. If we can do joint entities, the IEPA, I think it is, they have forgiving loans like up to 45 to 60%. I'll see. We'll definitely look into that. Good idea.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Okay. Continued, county farm management issues. Anybody got anything on that?
Not here, that's the good working on it, so just that's the next one.
Continued building efficiencies. Chris, building efficiencies, how are we on that?
We are, the entire project is real close to closing out. B&D, I have a bunch of stuff written down here. B&D, they're 100% finished with all of the lighting in all three buildings. Precision has buttoned up the last couple items that they've had. They installed noise jackets on compressors on the new chiller. There's a handful of things they need to, there's still some stuff in the jail basement that, equipment and whatnot that they need to come back, and I know Smartline has to meet with them to finalize some things out. They also replaced an expansion valve on the new chiller. When they first fired up the chiller, they weren't happy with the expansion valve, the way it was functioning, so they're like, you know what, let's take care of this right now before there's an issue. So they were down here doing that a couple weeks ago. Other than that, everything now, it's, from an energy standpoint, it's on an as-needed basis, you know, heating and cooling. Everything used to just be an all or nothing, you know, on, off, you know, it's, you'd go up in the boiler room in the courthouse and decide a locomotive running up there. And now it's really cool, you go up there sometimes and it's quiet. A lot of those pumps are running on 25%, with the VFDs. And we have a lot up there. There's 2 boilers, 2 train units, 2 air handler units. There's a total of 8 circulating pumps of various sizes and whatnot, and it's really cool to get up there and see that, you know, working how it can and how it's supposed to now. Getting back to the initial comment, the whole thing, I assume it's going to close out this month. I don't know. Obviously, don't handle any of the financial end of it, but that's why I don't know where we stand on that. But as far as the work being done, it's we're there.
Okay, so one more month of it being on the agenda and we'll be able to kick it off?
I think so. I hope. You never know, but
Is the courthouse and, that over there seem more comfortable for everybody?
it does. There were some bugs we had to work out when it transitioned from cooling to heating. On the phone this morning with James McDonald from Smart Watt, and was a pump not running that was supposed to be running, and that's another thing too. The support that I'm getting from them is fantastic. Any questions I have, any issues, because there's some things that they have to handle on their end as far as programming type things, and any time of day, 24/7, I call them or shoot the guy a text. I mean, he's on it like that. They're really good as far as that aspect goes. I know this is a big chunk of change doing this, but I think you guys choosing to do this, it definitely took a step in the right direction. I think the county will benefit from it for years to come. And once this is all said and done, I think we'll reap the benefits from it, and so will our equipment for a long time because it's not working as hard. It'd be nice to get this all taken care of.
Okay,
So that's where we stand on that.
anybody got any questions for him? Okay, we'll get back to you.
I'll be here.
Continued discussion on, discussion on solar projects, nobody's here on that, we haven't heard anything from anybody as far as I know. Now, back to maintenance supervisor's report.
Hey, you mentioned snow, the snow plow, from the highway department, I acquired that last month, it's in the maintenance shed, it's good to go, it's ready to go. Hopefully we'll never have to use it, but it's there. I did purchase a snow blower, I had ordered it just from Big R, it's a 30-inch Cub Cadet, there's a 15-horse engine on it, it's pretty stout. It'll, once again, I hope I don't have to ever use that, but. It came in the day it was snowing on the day before Halloween, because I had ordered it a couple weeks before. It got transferred from an Indiana store, and I saw the weather and potentially I'm talking maybe an inch or two, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I got all the shovels ready, but didn't have to use it. I did throw a little bit of salt later that day, just on walks and whatnot, because about 4 o'clock it did start to freeze on the steps and stuff. And actually ran into John coming out of the courthouse because I was salting. But we're good to go, snow removal wise. We did get 2 applicants for the job. It was posted on our website, and it was posted in the paper for 2 weeks, and we have 2 applicants. I haven't called either one of them yet, because it was, until the end of October last day, so I didn't want to call anybody yet. So this week I'll make a couple phone calls and hopefully get someone hired. Now that has to be a December 1st thing, am I wrong? Or what if we get a snowstorm in November? When does that person have to be hired? Does anybody know? Because I don't.
ASAP.
Salary wise, it's
I
worth
think
it,
the sooner the
as
better.
of December 1st, but that's up to you.
What would happen? I mean, if I call them and,
Well, we're already sitting at, the 4th, so probably by the time that you figure out and hire and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would think that.
Maybe it's gonna be
Close
mine.
enough that it would work out.
Yeah, I think it would be work out.
but, yeah, look at the weather, the month forecast, it doesn't look like we're in for anything crazy. It looks like a typical November, but.
But even if they're working to be paid ahead, so.
Right,
Yeah, I
exactly.
don't.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, yeah.
I'm assuming, so I don't think it'd be.
And it's also as needed, so.
Yeah.
So, get on this ASAP thing, right? Okay. That'll work. I'll be quick here, I just have some stuff written down for the month. Cooling tower here is winterized, taken care of. Once again, like I said, we did the transition over. That thing is ready to go. All the filters got swapped out, lubed and oiled, pumps, motors, things like that, as they all powered up. There were actually a lot of maintenance issues that came up this month, and everything was able to be handled in-house. I didn't have to have an outside contractor come in the whole month. That was a pat on my own back, so, no, just kidding, hold the applause. It was the day of our meeting last time when I mentioned the hot water domestic circulating pump over here. I thought it had a leaking gasket. Turns out, on the bearing assembly, the shaft was leaking. So I keep one of those on hand, I swapped it out, and I ordered a new bearing assembly section for that, and took it over to the maintenance shed, and kind of built a pump. There's 3 sections to it, and so now I have another spare sitting there. Didn't have to buy the whole thing. Had another small circulating pump go bad in the courthouse, jail basement, a small little taco booster pump on one of the boilers. I kept coming in the morning, and the boiler would be at a fault. It would overheat and shut itself off. And long story short, the impeller inside that booster pump had broken, it had sheared off and was lodged in there. And when it would turn on, nothing would happen, and then everything would shut off. See here, jail kitchen oven, had to put a new thermocouple in it. There was a leak in the upstairs deputy, or the detectives area, investigators rather, a bleeder valve on the hot water circulating, it started leaking and made a pond up there in their office. Had one of those on hand. Bunch of other just little piddly things, a new faucet or a new drain for the 911 kitchen area. And that's about it, large maintenance wise. I'm not gonna tell you every little thing.
Isn't that oven new?
Yeah, it's only 2 years old. That's the second time it has been.
That's what I thought. I don't build ovens like they used to.
Well, yeah, in the route we went with that, because it was kind of an emergency, if it's done thing, we didn't like go the best route. What's in there is great, and it serves its purpose, but I mean, we could have bought a $10,000 South Bend, you know, but, we got the economy version, and it works just fine. But if that's, thermocouple's cheap, if that's the
Yeah.
only thing that's gonna break on it, I can do that once a year, that's fine. But yeah, that thing's only a couple years old. Yeah. That's it, unless you guys have any questions.
Don't see any. Thank you. Discussion and action on electricity bills. So, did we get any in the mail, or did they just bring them? They brought them with. All right. I assume that's why you're here too? Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, whoever gives the bid, the other one needs to step outside, please.
Okay. I'll step outside. All right.
If you want to take a chair with you, you can.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Go sit in the break room.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Landstrom. I'm with Twin City Energy Services. I supply the county with your purchasing of your natural gas and electric needs. Here today to present some pricing options for you. Do what?
Good.
Oh, sorry. Get these passed out first. Here to present some pricing options for you on the electricity needs starting in December with your December meter reads for your 3 accounts. So I went out to bid, if you turn to page 2, went out to bid with suppliers that I worked with. As I told Amanda, I was going out to bids to Homefield Energy, which is the current supplier that I have you with. Constellation, Mid-American, Direct, NG, Nordic, and Hudson were the ones that returned pricing to me. 2 more suppliers I did go out to bid for. MC Squared is just entering in the market. At this time, they decided to no quote since they're just getting early into the Ameren market. And then Energy.me at Garrett Energy. Actually, when I told Amanda, and then about a few days later, I found out that they were declaring bankruptcy. So it's a little thing about this industry that been doing this 19 years. I can pretty much figure out the small ones that eventually are going to go out of business because they're undercutting the prices and trying to get a book of business to sell. Well, eventually their portfolio's upside down and it's worth nothing, and that's what exactly happened to them. So currently today I have you guys on an energy-only contract with Homefield Energy that goes through December of 2019 at 0.03398 for the energy only. So the ancillary charges are also locked in with Homefield, but the the tariff portions of the commodity, the line loss, transmission, and capacity are all passed through at tariff cost. What I'm presenting to you here today is options on a 12, 24, 36, 48, 59 on 1 and a 60-month on energy only and or all-in fixed rates. So Homefield Energy actually came in with the best pricing, which is your current supplier. 12 months is 0.031, 24 months is 0.03073, 36 months is 3049, 48 months is 3026, and 59 months is 3017. The reason they don't go out to 60 months is right now is their risk department, I would have to get into December to be able to go out another month. So that's the only reasoning why they're doing a 59 month versus everybody else with 60. There are other options below of all-in rates as well, but I will say this, that, for example, like Energy.me, a lot of the people in this industry like to sell the all-in commodity rate because they don't discuss how customers can benefit by lowering your capacity obligations. When I send out notices during the summer, hey, this is a peak day, try to curtail between this hour, decrease your usage and stuff. And I've had many customers successful where they'll take their, capacity obligation from 200 or 300 even down to like 50 or even almost zero, where they just turn everything back, turn their HVAC back for that hour. And if that is the hour that Ameren uses, then the capacity obligation for that next year is almost nothing compared to being a full 100% of what you would actually use. And you guys have been a good job of that. So another option, the thing is with the all-in rates, suppliers all have what they call a change in law in their contract. So even though somebody might come in with a fabulous all-in rate, which is the energy only, line loss, capacity, transmission, and ancillary, if one of those tariff charges go up during the term of the contract and was approved by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission or the Illinois Commerce Commission, then the supplier has the right to pass that increase on to you. Example like Energy.me and Agera, they did a lot of that. There was a lot of times where they didn't have enough in there. They would call it change of law. And then basically the customer would be paying where the other bids came in from the other suppliers. So it's my recommendation to Iroquois County to look to go with Homefield Energy. My recommendation, as long as you would like to go out at 36, 48, or 59-month term, because if you go to the next page, this shows you a graph of where the wholesale prices are on the electric markets. And right now we're in a 15 to 17 year low on energy only. So I have many clients going into 2023, 2024, and 2025 because of where supply rates are at right now. And everybody knows that the tariff portions of the commodity, you're gonna pay no matter what you're gonna get charged. So when you do an all-in rate, you actually have an insurance premium built into the price to try to cover any minimum increase during the term of the contract. However, like I say, I have seen suppliers out there pass that increase onto the customers throughout the term of the contract. So I'm not a full firm believer of all-in rates. Like I say, with many of the charges being tariff rate and you can only control the energy only, I would take advantage of where the markets are at today and look to recommend a 36, 48, or 59 months to Iroquois County. The savings for, I think I did a quick savings analysis. So the difference between the 33.98 and the 48 and 59 month term, the 48 month would save you roughly about $4,100 annually. That's comparing energy only to energy only. And the 59 month would save you roughly $4,250 annually based on your historical usage currently. With that, I will open it up for any discussions.
Anybody got any questions for him?
Energy has gone down in price, you say.
Yes.
But what we were paying was
$33.98 for supply only. Correct. And I can just remember even 10 years back, we were in the 4-cent range for supply only. So, depending upon the territory, I've seen some prices get into the 2.9, 2.8 cents. Depends upon your load profile and everything, but like I say, with the supply prices where they're at now, it totally makes benefit to look to lock into energy prices longest term as you can. One thing I do just want to open up and ask, you were saying something about solar projects. Are you guys considering doing solar for some of your facilities, or is that something just to make money?
We both. There's a possibility if they approve the main project, then it'd be like a 20 or 30 acre project. But then there's also behind the meter project that a company is supposed to, behind the meter, ahead of the meter, whichever it is, the company is looking at doing for our buildings.
Okay. Now, is that something that you might anticipate during the next year or two, if you do approve something like that to happen?
Yeah, cause the company had like an 18-month option,
Okay.
so, and that was gonna end up being like a year from now or something like that.
Okay. The reason I ask is a lot of suppliers now, when people start putting solar projects into their facilities and wind, whatever the case may be, it interrupts the supplier for delivering 100% of the requirements. I know Homefield would not have a problem with it, but there are some companies out there that do clearly say in their contracts that, you know, we're supplying you 100% of your energy needs. And if something like that happens during the term of the contract, it could be called a breach of contract. So I will send Amanda a list of questions to ask your solar company, because honestly, I have not seen a solar project yet save as much money as what was anticipated through the term of the, you know, it's like, hey, you're gonna save X amount per year or whatever. But there's a lot of questions on, well, what are you comparing here? Because like I say, supply rates are so low right now, how can you say that? Because they're saying, well, electric rates are gonna be increasing so much. Well, they've been doing nothing but decreasing over the last several years. So I have a list of about 16 or 17 questions I'll send to Amanda. You know, that's something that I would recommend sharing with any solar company and getting answers to those questions, because there's net metering, there's a lot of different verbiage that needs to be addressed before a customer should look into getting involved with a solar project.
Anybody got any other questions? All right, well, thank you. And you can wait outside if you want, or
Yep.
whatever.
So let him talk and then you'll come back and discuss what you want to do then, is that?
Yeah, which, yeah.
Okay, then I'll stick around. That's why I just wanted to try to figure out exactly what your thought process would be. I will step out and I'll let him in.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. How are you? Roger Dillon here from Watsika. Nice to see you.
No, maybe go over there where.
Oh, be better over. Okay.
That way everybody can see it.
Okay. It's small print. We just got a whole new rate today, so I apologize. I used to have a company that had all that, so we just have to present what we got. I don't have extra copies. I just got it this morning. It's a 12-month, 18-month, 24-month, 36, and a 48-month quote. I apologize. I don't have all the things like I used to have. My wife ran them off this morning at 5 to 9, I'm sorry, 5 to 9. Did you name the company?
And what company?
Dynegy. Dynegy.
Dynegy?
D-Y-N-E-G-Y. The company that I represent went bankrupt 2 months ago. So we started a whole new company, and Sam's in it, I'm in it. There's a company called The Grid, and we're now just getting going as a new company. So this is our quote here for local.
So is this, sorry, all in or an energy only quote?
All in.
All in, okay. Want to make sure we're
Yeah,
all on the same page.
yep, I understand. So it's good timing, but as I said, I apologize for the display right now. I used to have a complete portfolio, we're working on that right now.
What do you see with energy costs going up, down, sideways?
Well, we currently have Casey's for all their outlets. And we finished up with that and they're redoing it. And it is a little up, yes. Not a lot, but it's up. And gas is down. Gas prices right now, of course, another year before that comes up. But gas is down, electricity is up, yes. And that's gonna be the future of the company. So every week there's a new quote. Every week it's quoted as a commodity, like
Yeah,
anything else.
I know in the past, it's always been when we approve it, then it's actually when we approve it at the board meeting, then that day we need to get that
Right.
quote.
Right, this is all in here
Right.
for now, so. But it does change if you don't make a decision till next week.
Well, we'll send a recommendation to the full board, but next week is when the actual yes or no will
Okay,
happen.
I understand.
So,
Well, I appreciate the opportunity and thank you very much. Sorry I don't have all the finances, but we will future have a complete,
Okay.
but time shortly we will have that, so.
okay,
Thank you for your time.
all right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then if you, I guess we may contact you next Tuesday as our meeting.
Okay,
And so there'll be a new quote as of Monday?
yes,
Okay. So we'll we'll probably make a decision today, but get another quote from you on Monday.
I will. And I'll have a little better by then too. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Going on us hogging all the time.
Hmm?
Going on us hogging.
Um,
Don't want-
I think they're,
Are they the
Charlie's
same?
got
Are they
one
the
too.
same?
I got one.
Sure, are they the same?
You wanna frame it?
No, I just want to see if they were the
they
same.
look the same, just a quick glance at
Yeah,
them.
yeah, they were
They were
the
the
same.
same?
They were the same.
Okay, never mind.
Well,
So his on his though says these are good through December. So is he changing his quote prices every day too, or is this what he's giving us?
well, he was gonna come back in. So we can ask.
Come back in or not?
Yeah, I wanna ask you.
Yep.
So the quotes that you have on here
Yes.
that say through December, is that, I mean, they're not gonna change next week. This is what,
Oh, yeah, so markets,
oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Gas and electric markets trade, just like the stock markets, all the time. So if you decide that you want to work with me, what I would do is go get like the top 3 suppliers and get updated pricing and then send that to you for that meeting. And so remind me again, it's next Monday, next Tuesday at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So what I could do is get pricing effective Monday evening and say, okay, supplier, you would have to hold that price through Tuesday. And then I could present contracts to you for whatever term you decide that you want to go with. But yeah, markets can move which direction every day. Unfortunately, we've seen a glitch into the market with this lovely snowstorm that we all had here last week. So the markets had gone up a little bit prior to me getting these pricings last Friday afternoon, evening. So yeah, markets could change a little bit, but I don't anticipate the markets to move very much. Like I said, we've already seen a significant increase because of the cold snap that happened. However, with the moderate temperature of kind of where it should be, I'm starting to see prices come back off a little bit.
So you would give us new prices then before the meeting on Tuesday?
Correct. And then one or two things, I can come back Tuesday at 9 o'clock for the meeting, and then bring contracts for whatever term you're thinking to go along with those prices, and then that way I could have option A, B, or C contracts, and then whoever the board decides, I could have a contract to go with that. And then I could supply Amanda with, the updated pricing on Monday afternoon, so that way, if you guys want, she could send it out to the board so you have it ahead of advance of where the prices are for the Tuesday meeting.
And if you wanted to be here to answer any questions
Yeah.
that might come up, that'd be great.
Yeah, but as I said earlier, it is significant to know, like I say, it's significant to know, especially you potentially doing a solar project of, is there a potential of breaching contract, with a supplier on something like that? And or, like I say, to me, I called Energy.me's bluff a long time ago. They lasted longer than I thought, but they went bankrupt. And like I said, I knew that somebody was trying to buy business and lowball and everything, and that's why I really never did a lot of business with them, because I saw that happening. Mid-American, Homefield, Constellation are my top 3 suppliers. They're very, very reputable companies, and I don't see a problem with any of those companies in the future at all. So, if I may ask, if it was today, what would you recommend to the board, like one of the 48 or 59 month or 36 month energy only, or?
What do you have in the past?
The past contract, give me a minute here, was a 36 month contract. The only reason I would say to you guys to consider the 48 month or the 59 month is because the markets are so low, we have not seen this in 15 to 17 years to take advantage of it. However, like I said, you are the customer. I'm not going to say what term you go with. I can just go on based on my knowledge of doing this 19 years and make my recommendation. Like I said, my recommendation would be either 36, 48, or 59 months.
Normally, I would agree with you, but in a board like this, there's turnover every 2 years. Not everybody's gone 2 years, except one time it will be. I hate to see going out for 4 years.
I think 36 is always a nice, comfortable range.
Yeah.
And you
So
could,
you've still got the carryover.
you can always layer in, let's say, next year you want to say, hey, Chris, look at pricing for another year. If you want to look to add in
For an extension.
to an extension, okay, well, this year could be 31 cents or whatever the market is at that time, then we could layer in a contract for that year beyond this current contract. And I have a lot of customers that do that.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because it's a yes or no on a new board.
Makes sense.
So, is that okay if I get the top 3 suppliers, bring that back to Amanda, and then I'll get the contracts for the best options for a 36, 48, whatever, and that way at least I can have for whatever the board decides what they want to do on Tuesday?
I think so. Yeah, I think that'd
I
be
think that'd be
great.
great.
Okay.
If you need that as a motion, yeah.
What we'll need is,
With the fact that we come up with these production of our own, affect the amount of electricity you're providing,
Mm-hmm.
would it'd be lesser volume perhaps.
Yeah, like I say,
The recommendation
see upon the
that we-
supplier, I would let
Twin City.
them know
Energy
that there's a
services
potential
program
that a
Tuesday.
customer could be doing that. That way they know in advance.
With updated prices
But like I say, a lot of suppliers now
for 36
won't even
months.
work with people with
Yeah.
solar projects because they have no idea what they're going to use.
Based on his current pricing.
So,
Yeah, I think we ought
but like I
to.
say, home field, I know you'll be safe with.
Okay,
yeah, so we'll,
makes sense, Paul?
But she probably needs,
because in the
need a
past,
second for that recommendation.
we
Yeah.
voted on it and then had to change the vote because when the things came in.
Right, because
they
we
were-
didn't know it changed on a,
Right.
yeah.
And actually have both of them give us
him too?
Well,
Well, I
to
just
be
put,
fair, we have,
I put on that based on the lowest price.
right, but that's what we had one other time, and that's where it's best to just not mention
Good.
dollars in it, because we had one that lowballed when they saw what the price was at the committee.
Maybe we should also
Yeah, I've
add
seen
that
stuff like that happen before.
base, in the same recommendation, based on the reliability of the company, or, you know, what I said, the
Performance of it?
Or the current pricing.
the energy provider, based on the performance of the energy provider. Because if you come in and you're gonna recommend the one that went bankrupt, then probably we don't wanna listen to that. You know,
Yeah, there's
it's
other,
kinda nice to
there's
know
other
that,
ones out there that I don't represent, that I won't represent, that I know eventually are going under. So I don't know what that gentleman brought in, but I know there's other suppliers out there that it's just a matter of time. And if, what I would recommend, because I'm also on the board of directors for Central Illinois over in Peoria, I would recommend looking at the suppliers and their BB accreditation, you know, some of the reviews and stuff to see how reliable there is, because you will find out with some suppliers, they got like a D or an F rating, and there's a reasoning for that. So,
what are some DNF ones?
For ethical reasons.
should I throw my Better Business Bureau hat on?
Just, you know, that we might hear of in this
Yeah,
area.
well, Liberty is one. Energy.me, Agera, like I say.
Is there any of the newer ones that have come out, like?
Well, there's newer ones that come on that,
They come out, as
that's
soon as
like,
one goes bankrupt,
I
the
have
other
no
one
idea
can
who
pop
you
up.
are, and then I find out, okay, you're not worth the time of day. I'm not putting my name on it.
Okay,
So I would say, like I say, depending upon what you brought in, I would, do your due diligence, look at some reviews and stuff of that company, I'll put it that way. That way you have an idea of the credit worthiness of that company.
Okay. Well, we have a motion to recommend, go ahead and read it.
So we're recommending that Twin City returns on Tuesday for the full board meeting with updated prices for 36 months based on the current pricing, also based upon the performance of the energy provider. So we just need a second.
All in, well, I guess we're spending money, so it's probably better to do like roll call.
Just a recommendation.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. So I imagine we will see you at the full board meeting.
So can I ask a question? So is he then coming back then also, or not? Because the way your motion was,
Right,
it sounded like it.
He really should be allowed to come back because he was here. And that's where we don't want to mention any dollar amounts and have him come back with a .29.
Is this something that the public can hear fairly quickly?
I was told not anymore.
I just asked a
They
question,
record
because
it,
I don't
but
know how that happens.
Does it still go out on the internet? It does, okay. So, well, if they know to do it, but at any rate,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem with all the modern technology is it's hard to
So,
keep confidential stuff confidential.
do we need to close meeting for a few minutes to speak on this?
What?
Do we need to close meeting to speak on this for a few minutes?
Why?
Can we? Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and close meeting for a few minutes on this.
Okay,
So,
Just
you
because
you want me
it's
out?
financing. Agree?
well, usually we cite what it is, why we're doing it, and I do not know what,
We were talking about money.
no, but you need to cite the ILCS, dot.
so we'll just expect you back Tuesday. Good enough?
Good enough,
Perfect.
good enough.
That's wonderful, and we'll get numbers from Amanda prior to that, or right
Yeah.
before that when you give them to her. We'll go from there.
Why do you want to do that? Just dealing with questions I have, because
He just doesn't wanna say anything in front of,
I don't wanna say in front of you.
no.
Oh,
Nor
And I think-
against you or for you, I just wanna
yeah.
You're
clarify a question. Yeah, I have nothing to do with you, just.
Thank you so
Did,
much.
but did.
You're quite welcome. Do you want me to tell him also, or do you want him to come back in, and you can tell him what
He
you
can
want him
stick
to
his
do?
head back in and,
Okay, I'll let him come in here, you take care of it, and then I'll
Okay.
see you guys next Tuesday.
all right,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming today.
Have a good day.
All right, you too.
I feel like I'm a survivor.
I know. So, we always go with it, obviously, but we don't know what's gonna happen.
No, exactly, that's why I put in there about
Okay.
the energy rating and everything else, cause I just looked that up really quickly. So, on my
I
phone.
just didn't wanna say.
No, I get that, and that's why I put in there about
Okay.
a reputable company, because
Tell him to come back in.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna tell
I
him.
think he was telling me that.
I just didn't wanna say the wrong thing.
No, you were fine.
I don't see him anywhere.
Okay, you may have taken off.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
You don't need me.
I just looked up that.
Yeah, I just didn't wanna.
All right,
And that company switched over quite a few times, so that's why I said that.
Okay.
okay, so,
Moving
we have
on.
done that. Discussion on USDA improvement. I have not heard anything. So we have not heard anything back from them. That puts us down to claims.
We got done with the mowing contract,
What?
It's, yeah, we paid the last one.
there's one here, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Um, how come on the claims, we got account code 110, but at the top it says 210 sheriff? That's on that second page.
What are we looking at?
This
I know,
page.
but what?
For Angel Pest Control.
Angel?
No, yeah, well, that's what the first one is, but, that's the courthouse and stuff, but I was more concerned with, like, Getz, Hiltz, and Stock and Field. Cause those all say that they're specifically for basically the sheriff's office, so I just, or am I just reading it wrong?
Those
I
would
don't-
be,
Oh, am I reading it wrong too?
Well, the 210 is the account for
Yeah, but-
courthouse and jail.
But it's 110 over here. That's why I'm saying that.
110
Well,
is general
110 is our
fund.
fund number.
110's the
That's
whole
the fund that
fund.
it comes out of the general fund, and then 210 is the sheriff's number, but Chris,
See like the first
maintenance
page?
comes out of 210 and 710.
110, 710, 110, 210.
So it's anything, the 110 is anything that comes out of the general fund and then it goes to whichever department.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so those are all.
Okay, so just to clarify, just for me, please. So like for Stock and Field, that's gonna go to the sheriff.
Correct.
Hiltz, that's gonna go to the sheriff. Gets Fire, that's still, even though it's coming out of general fund, that's still gonna go to the sheriff's
Yeah,
budget.
it still
Yeah.
shows up on, sheriff's department
I'm
code
with you now.
210 under his
No,
RA.
thank you.
It was a little
It's-
confusing.
Yeah.
I just thought, it threw me for a curve.
And
I saw the
that's,
account up above and I'm like going, huh?
that's because it comes out of the general fund, not a specifically taxed fund, right?
Okay,
Okay.
Gotcha.
thank you very much.
First time
Sorry, I
I- No, I noticed it too, and I was like, okay.
Any other questions on the claims?
Okay, here's another one then. So the freezer that got picked up for the health department, that came out of the maintenance fund, but it was $75 to Kingdom's.
Mhm.
So, should that have been a health department charge, or is that a maintenance charge?
Probably should have been, but I took it out of maintenance and repair over here because I didn't know that they were going to, they had a freezer go bad and asked me to get rid of it. They wanted me to store it. I'm like, well, if it's, I'm not gonna start doing that again. It took me 2 years to clean this place up. I'm not gonna,
Right.
and then that's when I made the call to you, can I get rid of it? And yeah, I get rid of the thing, so I had Kingdom's come and get it. I got that invoice and I just paid it.
Okay. Makes
I
sense, I
didn't wanna
didn't,
start that whole ball rolling, walking over there and like, here, you need to pay this. So I just paid it out of maintenance repair and was done with it.
alright, makes sense.
Any other questions? Hearing none?
I move we pay the claims as presented.
I'll
Recommend that they be paid.
I'll second it.
Alt,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aaron's,
Yes. Is there any old business? The only thing I've got would be, remember to look pretty on Tuesday for pictures.
Get a haircut.
Any new business?
Which one?
Smart ass.
Motion to adjourn. Mr. Dupas,
We're
second.
not buying you a wig either.
Second. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.
Is this